Welcome to Flash Tutorial 82, Kaleidoscope Animated. It's a follow-up to Flash Tutorial 81, Kaleidoscope, which I have opened on my computer now. The first thing I want to do is open the library and open this movie clip Try. Make sure all the layers are locked. Select the top layer, insert a layer, and call this Action Script, AS. Lock all the layers. Unlock the image layer. And that's the ball here. Highlight it. If you want, actually you can right click and say select all. That way there you get everything we need. Come up to the top, modify, convert to a symbol. Make sure movie clip is selected and call it ball, capital B-A-L-L _MC. We're going to write Action Script on it. Copy that, right click, copy it. Open the Properties panel and paste in this instance name. Lock all the layers. Select frame 1 of the Actions layer. Open the Actions panel. Type, all this, well, very little code here. First of all, we need to have some kind of a listener, otherwise this would only take place once, and this allows it to take place every time we enter the frame, which is 24 times a second. That's what the rate is. It starts off with stage, period, add event listener. Small s, small a, capital E, capital L. That turns blue. Open bracket, keyboard event, capital K, capital E. That turns blue. Period. Key down, and these are all capital letters. Key _ down. That will turn blue. Comma. Something. That's all I'm calling. You can put any name here you want, as long as it doesn't turn blue. I'm calling it something. Close bracket, semicolon. Here's the function. F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N, that turns purple. There's that word something again. That's that same word that was up top there. Open bracket, event, small e, that turns blue. Colon, keyboard event, capital K, capital E, that turns blue. Close bracket. Here's the open curly bracket for this function, and way down the bottom there's my closed curly bracket for this function. Now I picked the simplest code, one of the simplest codes I could come up with for moving things on the stage. There are more elaborate ones, and if for some reason you want to know how to make it more elaborate, which is much smoother than this one will be, just leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. If turns purple, open bracket, EVENT period, that turns blue. Key code, small k, capital C, that turns blue. Equals equals. Keyboard, period, left, capital K, period, left is all capitals, close bracket, that's the left arrow key. Open bracket for this if statement, and as soon as you start typing, you'll get this, usually this one down here will appear. Don't bother putting these trace statements in. If you have some errors or it isn't working, you might want to put these in for troubleshooting purposes. But here's that ball _MC, capital B, that's that movie clip we just made. Period, X, that's its X position, X-axis. Minus equals, that means move to the left. 4, that's the number of pixels we're moving. Semicolon, and there's the closed bracket for that if. You can copy this here, paste it, change the left to right. I don't know if I stressed it. There has to be 2 equal signs here because you need 2 equal signs here. Back to where we were. Change this left to right, and make this +4, so it actually moves to the right instead of to the left. You still have it copied. Paste it again. Change the left to up. Make sure these are capitals, and here we're going to change the x-axis to the y-axis, and again minus equals 4. That would be the same. And paste it again. make sure that you change the left to down, change the X to Y, and make this plus equals 4. Now let's test this out, make sure we have no errors. And like I said, this is not the most smooth operation, but it works. There's your kaleidoscope. There's my down key, there's my up key. There's my right key and my left key. Now, naturally, if you hold one key, you're going to start taking this thing way up. I'm going up with the up arrow, and it's gone way up the page, and it can go forever. So we're going to put a limit on that. I'm bringing it back down. We're going to put some limits on this. I'm going to use a pencil and paper, and I suggest you pause this or somehow get a pencil and paper unless you have a real good memory. Go back to the timeline for this movie clip try. I'll move this up a little bit. Click this here and I'll be able to see everything. Unlock the image layer. That gives me this here. The ball. Let's make it 50%. And let's put this, that's as low as I think I would want it, right there. So come over here, open your properties panel, and look at the Y. In this case, mine says 167. So I'm going to write down Y equals, I'm going to put 170. Now I'm going to back here, highlight this. If it isn't highlighted, it has to be because I'm seeing it. Move it up with my arrow keys. And there's as high as I would want it. And mine says minus 108. I'm going to put minus 110. So now I have two y coordinates. Just bringing this down in the middle for a minute. Now I'm going to go with my arrow key to the left. And this is as far left as I would want it. So this is going to be my x. And my x is about 150. So I'm writing down x 150. Minus 150. And it's a minus. It's a minus because this is way off to the left off the stage, really. Okay, use my arrow keys, putting it over to the right as far as I would want it. And that's about it there. And mine's going to be 167, so I'm going to say 170. So my coordinates are 170 and minus 110 for the y, and minus 150 and 170 for my x. Let's put this back in the center-ish. Let's make these all visible properly again. There we go. Let's lock all the layers, open the actions panel, and right here for this left key, right after this ball MC period X, put a line in here and type these few lines. I'm going to separate them here. We're going to put a trace in here, TRACE, should turn blue, open bracket, ball underscore MC, capital B, that's that movie clip, period X, close bracket, semicolon. So we're going to see this incrementation as we're pressing the arrow key going left. It'll get minus, more minus, more minus. And we want to go as far as minus 150. So if turns purple, open bracket, ball underscore MC period X, that's the position of that ball. If it's less than equals to, less than equal, minus 50, minus 150, I've been saying 50, minus 150, close bracket. Here's the open bracket for this if statement. There's the close bracket for this if statement. Ball underscore MC period X equals minus 150 semicolon, and there's the close bracket. And we should still have two curly brackets at the bottom. And I said close bracket, but this is a closed curly bracket. So now we'll just check and make sure this X one works. Control test movie, and we're talking about the X minus going negative. So if I look over here while I'm pressing it, there we go, and notice these numbers are getting more negative, and once I reach minus 50, doesn't matter what happens, it only gets 54 because it gets that last pixel movement before it actually checks it. So that works, and let's do the same for the other buttons. So open that actions panel, copy this, Right click, copy it, and this is for the X. Let's go in here. This is the other X right here. So click after that one, and I put two enters, paste it in, and we're tracing the X here. Ball MC, if it's greater than, we need a greater sign here. I said put in a greater sign, but I put the less than sign back in. Later on in the video you'll see I'll straighten that out. And this has to be 170, and we'll fix it at 170. Now I'm going to assume that this is working. I still have it copied, so now I'm going to come down into the Y, click on the end of this one, 2 enters, paste it. The first thing I want to make sure is all these X's are Y's. Y, Y, and Y. And because this is the up key, up is in Flash, up is going negative, and we want 110, minus 110. If it's less than minus 110, we want it to stay at 110. That looks logical to me. And I'm going to copy this one. Copy, and go down to the down key. Click on the end there, 2 enters, paste this in, and my limit for here was 170. 170, 170, and it has to be a greater sign. Now I probably have something wrong, but I'll soon find out. Let's test it out. First of all, I have no errors, which is nice. I'm going to press the up key, and I can see over here my limits are going up to minus 10, and it goes to minus 14 because it picks up the extra pixel. I'm going down. Now it's getting more positive, and it will go down to 170. Making sure that works. It's jerky because my machine doesn't have a lot of RAM, and I'm doing all this tracing. And I actually, I'm going, what that was. It is 170, and then it jumped. I must have an error there. I can fix that up. I may as well do that right now. I have an error in my code. You probably don't have it. Right there, I jumped to 1700. Okay, so you don't have that error. So yours is working all right. So I'm going to take you back to where it was working right. And now I'm going to go. All right, that going right, left now. I'm going left to minus 150. And there's something wrong with my right, I think, but that's good. Minus 54, yeah. But I just jump here for some reason. So there's something wrong with my right arrow key code. And let's see if we can see that real quick. My right arrow key code. And I believe that's it right there. That should be a greater than. And you may have not have these problems because you may have done it right. So now there's one I got to check, and that's my right arrow key. That's better. I'm watching my output panel over here, and we'll go to 174. Good. Now let's take my traces off and see if I get a smoother. I'm just going to highlight out these traces, and I might get a smoother transition there. That one's gone, that one's gone, that one's gone. Control, test movie. I have no traces. a little bit smoother. That's because I have such a small RAM. Let's go back to the timeline. Let's go back to scene 1. Make this 50% so we can see it all. Select the top layer, insert a layer, call it black. Pick up your oval tool. Pick up the oval tool. Make sure you have black, no fill, black stroke, and holding your shift key down, make a circle, and decide how much you want to see of this kaleidoscope. I'm going to make mine about that big. Clicking on it, using my arrow keys now to position it, and that's what I want to see. I don't want to see beyond these where it's cut off. So that's what I got. I'm going to lock that layer for a minute. Insert another layer. Not even going to give this one a name. I'm going to pick up the rectangle tool this time. I'm going to start just outside the stage limit, outside the stage. Just a little slightly bigger than the stage. There it is. I'm going to click on this, right click, copy it. Going to lock that layer, unlock the black layer, right click, paste in place. So now if I look, close this layer here, I now put that, you could have done them both at the same time, but I'd rather work on layers separately. So now I'm going to delete this layer. So now I have this border, which you could have made on the same layer. That's up to you. Now I'm going to fill this. So pick up black here for the fill, and pick my fill bucket up in there. Now let's, last time, run our kaleidoscope. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learned.